Hey guys, welcome back. It's day 3 and 4 actually. So this video is a summary of what we did for day 3 and 4 of culinary school. So basically day 3, a lot of it was focused on talking about the knife, the parts of the knife, how to properly hold the knife, knife safety, and also a lecture on serve safe, which is sanitation and cleanliness in the kitchen, and making sure you don't cross-contaminate and making sure you're understanding foodborne illnesses. But like I said, a lot of the focus on the kitchen side was just focused on this is a knife, this is a part of the knife, this is the tip of the knife, this is the cutting edge, this is the handle and the bolster and things like that. So also learning and getting used to cutting with the knife a certain way, holding the knife a certain way, and really just getting familiar with your chef's knife. Probably the most used tool in the kitchen is the chef's knife, and really just making sure you have that habit of holding, placing your thumb here, and then your index finger right over the bolster, and then just sort of 3 fingers holding your handle and just sort of letting that glide. So if I could get an example, use this as an example. So I'm using this and just sort of gliding my knife just like that. A lot of that was just, familiarizing ourselves with that and making sure that we build that habit in and we're familiar with our knife. This is right here, you see a picture of what we have for day 4, our agenda for day 4. We started off with serve safe again. This is a huge thing, not only in a pandemic year, but in the kitchen. Sanitation and cleanliness is top of mind for everybody. You want to make sure you're providing the clean, very safe food, and you're aware of foodborne illnesses, and you know how to avoid them. So serve safe is a big thing. My big gripe with culinary school is that serve safe is something that could be handled outside of school. It's taking away from cooking time. I do understand the importance of it, but I also think that it's something that could be handled outside of school. For example, you could have students required to take the serve safe test prior to being admitted to culinary school. That is something that it bothers me, that it's taking up valuable classroom time and cooking time. But that's just me. Maybe that's obviously just one guy's opinion, but it is what it is. And then the fun part. Today we worked on 3 cuts, the julienne cut. So really working off of our knife cut models. So this is the julienne right here, and then this is the brunoise, which is just a julienne cut up in squares. So really just getting used to that motion of cutting the julienne, measuring it, and just taking your time with it, and really just, again, being familiar with the knife. So this is what my first, if I can find it, my first set of julienne looked like. It was my first time. I have a long way to go in terms of finding perfection and cutting perfectly, but I'm super excited to practice and practice and practice. It's just going to take some getting used to, some repetition, and I'm excited about that. That's just, if you know me, you know that I look forward to practicing these things, and I could just I'm looking forward to just buying a sack of potatoes and just practicing this. So this is my first set of julienne and brunoise. Here are the cubes. You can see some of them. The juliennes are either too thick or too thin. They're also too long. With my cubes, or some of them, again, same thing. It's gonna come out, right? If your julienne is inconsistent, your brunoise is gonna come out inconsistent, and that shows here. That, again, practice, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. In fact, I brought home some potatoes. Chef let us bring home some potatoes to practice. So this is my first set, And then we worked on tourneing potatoes. Tourneing is like basically making a football shape out of a potato. It's very hard to do if you've never done it. You do it with a paring knife. And basically to do it, this is a tourneing knife. This is not a paring knife. But to just show you, you sort of choke up on the knife, and you choke up on the knife, and you just sort of work your way around, sort of cutting it in to try to make it a football shape like this. No, not this, like this. So you're just, it's like a hand motion. You just sort of peel through. If you're curious to see how to do a tournée, there's a lot of YouTube videos that show you that. But this is how mine turned out. Obviously, very, very far from this. But again, practice. You know, reminding myself like, hey, this is just the beginning. I need to go home. I brought home potatoes and I need to practice, right? Practice that football. And Chef also told us to go home and literally just do this with your finger at home while you're watching TV. Do it for 30 minutes. Just take an egg and just sort of practice that motion. So that's something that I'll be doing. My wrist is already feeling that. Holding a knife and cutting in the classroom, you know, there's going to be some parts that are sore. I did cook a lot before culinary school, so thankfully I'm sort of used to being on my feet, working that wrist. But tourneing a potato is a different beast in and of itself. But I'm looking forward to just sitting in front of a TV or watching Netflix with Yvonne and just sort of practicing this motion with my egg, right? So that's something that I'm looking forward to. I'm just looking forward to just on a day off, just work through a sack of potatoes and just tournée or julienne or brunoise all day. And that's something that I'm absolutely looking forward to. And then lastly, I did do my juliennes and brunoise again. A little bit of improvement here, but definitely still a long way to go. But you know, I imagine that it's just going to take some work. So yeah, I saw a little bit of improvement, but there's still some inconsistencies with size and shape. So that's something that I definitely need to work on and get better at. No doubt about that. So yeah, we talked about again some of the knife cuts and just the introduction to knife cuts today. That was sort of the big highlight of the day for us. It was just getting to cut something and talk about knife cuts. We are going to be tested on knife cuts. There's going to be an exam, right? A practicum exam that we have to show our knife cuts, and we can possibly fail that if it doesn't come out good. So that's something that I have in the back of my mind, just wanting to practice and get after it more. We talked about the knife cuts. There's 16 knife cuts total. And so we're probably going to be, you know, working on a lot of these throughout the class tomorrow, and we'll talk about that in another video. But tomorrow we're working on cooking eggs in all types of ways you can cook an egg. So I'm really excited about tomorrow's lesson. It's the first time we get to actually cook something, so that is exciting. I wanted to thank you guys so much for watching this day 3 and day 4 update of Culinary School Chronicles. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and tell somebody who works at BuzzFeed or Cooks Illustrated or Food and Wine or any of the food media agencies that I am absolutely wanting to work for them, and I'm going to culinary school to work in that field. So if you know somebody who works there, please do send this video to them. Tell them this kid really would love to work for them and possibly work for free. I don't know. But yeah, so thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow where we do day 5 of culinary school. Peace. Later.